I'm just gonna give a few people a few minutes to get in. Okay. All right, we're gonna get started. Thank you for coming in and welcome to Awaken, presented and written by me, Zainab Hamid. Okay. And here's the introduction. My name is Zainab Hamid and I'm a certified life coach. This presentation is about the healing journey and what it takes to be awakened. I will begin this presentation by sharing a few facts about me. My healing journey has been one of the most challenging times of my life. I lived with numerous internal battles and was unaware of them. Did you ever feel like that? I would get upset at the slightest inconvenience and always played the victim. My story includes abuse, pain, loneliness, and survival. Every day I lived with a pain in my body. I never understood it. I was happy on the outside and dying on the inside. I was like most people today. I never processed my emotions. I just buried them deep inside and carried them everywhere I went. Now, I know many of us go through this, and we feel like it's magically going to disappear. Anything ignored is only going to accumulate it and multiply it into something worse with every second that passes. It's like this. If you had symptoms of a disease and you ignored them, are they going to go away with time, or are they going to fester and accumulate? Here's some frequently asked questions. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to fear? Now this one, fear is something I had to work on the most in my healing journey. And it came from almost every single area of my life, really. Losing my grip on controlling the outcome of any situation, trusting myself enough to know that whatever happens, I will be capable of overcoming it. And fear, when it comes to fear, you have to be so trusting in who you are as a person that it will trump any fear that you have. And so when it comes to fear, I just found just doing the thing that I'm afraid of, as long as it's not harmful on me or harmful on anyone around me, as long as I'm just doing it and I just do it, and I do it repetitively and I do it consistently, I don't feel like the fear will last. And that's something that helped me. How do you react to your triggers, right? I react by acknowledging that I am triggered and telling myself that I am triggered and emotionally regulating myself. So we're going to talk about emotional regulation in one of the slides, which is something so important. And once you learn how to do that, it's going to be like life-changing throughout, from this moment moving forward, life-changing. I also learn to just be so aware that I'm triggered. I even tell myself that I'm triggered. I'll say it out loud. Okay, you're triggered in this moment. And I have a routine, sometimes depending on what the trigger is. I have a routine of how I deal with that trigger. Like it could be like just something that comforts me, self-soothe myself, and emotionally regulate myself, right? So that's something very important. Do you believe in yourself? Okay, believing in yourself will help you throughout any problem that you have, right? So when you believe in yourself, you believe in your capability to overcome any obstacle. And so when you believe that you can overcome any obstacle, a problem is just a problem, right? There's not really a really huge emotional stamp put on it, depending on the problem, really. It's just a problem that needs to be solved. In your mind, when you learn to emotionally regulate yourself, you just look at the problem. Okay, this problem just needs to be solved. And that's it. Every problem has a solution. And when you find the solution, just execute the solution. And believing in yourself will help you believe that you're capable of doing that. So that's believing in yourself, trusting in you, trusting that no matter what happens, no matter what God puts us through, we're going to overcome it. Okay. And the next one is how is your relationship with you, right? My relationship with myself is a beautiful balance of conscious thoughts and projected thoughts. I consciously take good care of my mental and physical state. My projected thoughts are the things that I must unlearn from past occurrences. I love my alone time, and I enjoy my own company. Okay, so when you enjoy your own company, you're very selective of who you allow in your company. And so when you have such a beautiful relationship with you, you even start to make yourself laugh. You crack a joke and you make yourself laugh. Like, I'm my best company. Sounds like little whatever, but it really is. Like, it's such a beautiful way of living your life, is just loving your own company. You know, every single night I put out my snacks and my tea and sit with myself and either work or write or watch my favorite podcast or whatever it is. And work on myself, you know, and just and I'm able to have that relationship with myself and be completely selective of who I let in that orbit, right, of my company, because my company is valuable. And so, yeah, so having a good relationship with yourself is so important. What do you want to enhance in your life? This enhancement can be like your written goals. It could be personal goals. It could be emotional goals. It could be mindset goals. It could be any kind of goal, any kind of enhancement, any kind of, like, learning something new every day is an enhancement, right? There's no reason why any human being shouldn't be learning something new every single day. We have so much access to information and knowledge and different avenues and different social media accounts and all those beautiful things. Like, your algorithm can be literally teaching you. Like, you're literally a student to your algorithm. That's the way it should be. That's the way social media should be for you. You know, we all have that entertainment where we need that, like, little, you know, entertainment, but that's like extra. But really, you should be learning something new every day. I want to enhance my ability to stay focused on one task. So this is something that I want to enhance about myself. And so that's important. Healing isn't pretty. It's messy, hard, and painful, but it's real and it's yours. Healing starts with acknowledgement. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. If you believe that an enhancement in your life is required, then your desire to accomplish that enhancement will be greater than any fear you might encounter. You deserve to know the version of you that is the greatest. It is you who can unlock and unleash the lion or lioness. Walk it, talk it, believe it, grasp it, and embody it. You become everything that you intake. That could be an environment, that could be your food intake, that could be your work environment, that could be anything. You become what you put yourself in. Okay, so it's so important to be aware of where you are, and if your environment matches your value. And so just being aware of that, embody who you are, because there's only one you. Unlocking the awareness. The key to healing is to feel everything. You must sit with it. Ignoring it will only make it worse. Healing is not all sunshine and rainbows. Although we do experience many days of enlightenment, the days of darkness are just as enlightening. Yes, the darkness is where you want to be. That means you started and you took the step. There is no set time. It's a choice you must make every day. You are obligated to go through this time. You cannot skip any steps. Let's go through the steps together. Now, these steps are they're not in order, right? The first couple of them are in order, but it really just depends on your journey and where you want to be and where you are at mentally and what you need in that moment. So just take it just take it where you need it at, just take whatever you need in that moment. Okay. Overcoming the fear. An unknown need for control creates fear. We often experience fear because we are uncertain about the outcome. When you have a strong trust in your capabilities, your fear will not be the reason you stop. Fear usually arrives when growth is present. Keep the negative thoughts out. Fear is created by you and will be overcome by you. So many people let fear run their lives. Growth happens when the comfort zone is challenged. I always made the excuse of being too shy, and that's why I stayed in my comfort zone. When the realization happened that I was fearful of rejection, abandonment, loss, and being seen, I started to challenge myself. Your desire must be greater than your fear. Do it while your hands are shaking and your mind is screaming. I promise that the outcome will either be a blessing or a lesson. You will never know until you jump. Growth is in the unknown. Stretch yourself a little more each day, and you will be shocked at how much you can endure. The unfamiliar route is the route that will lead to a destination that could change the pattern of your life. If you don't jump, you will never know. Don't fear the outcome. Become the outcome. So, like I said in the beginning, fear is something I dealt with almost every part of my life. Like I had fear in almost every avenue. And I always like meeting new people, all this stuff, right? And I always blamed it on being shy. But when I first did my video and I had so much anxiety when it came to being in front of the camera, I literally cried the first time I tried to make a video. I cried my eyes out. And then I started saying to myself, I'm so afraid. And I looked at the video back and I'm like, why am I saying I'm afraid? When in actuality, I thought I was being shy. So I just kind of internalized it, okay, this is fear. It's not real. It's not like you're shy, because, you know, when I'm around certain people, I'm not shy. I'm just myself. And so now that I know that it was fear, I was able to acknowledge that it was fear, and I was able to find a solution, because I had the real answer in that moment. And if it wasn't for that experience, I would have never known that I was fearful of being in front of the camera. And now, like, because I've done it so many times, I don't have that fear anymore. You know, do I have that nervousness, or do I have that, you know, level of excitement and stuff? But yeah, of course I do. But I also learned how to emotionally regulate myself. You know, that's where emotional regulation comes in. And so that's why it's so important to have that part be more valuable. And so, yeah, so you can't change what you don't acknowledge. That's what I always say. Live in your truth. And then once you live in your truth, you'll know what the real problem is. Once you know what the real problem is, you can find the solution. It's that simple. It's not simple, right? Because it takes a lot of courage to be truthful with yourself and be authentic with yourself. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of braveness and courage to say, okay, I'm wrong in this place. What can I do to fix it? Right? So that's where the acknowledgement comes in. Once you know what you have to work on, you can work on it. Step 1, the choice. With every adventure, you need to choose to be present. The choice must be yours. You must be so tired of the life you're living and ready for the journey. A significant amount of mirror work and shadow work is involved in the healing process. When the choice is yours, then you will be willing to continue the journey. I don't want you to fear the process. The nerves you feel are because you have not experienced the outcome. Fear is rooted in the things that make us feel uncomfortable. We block so many opportunities because we fear the steps required to take. If you learn to manage your fear, you will find that many fears are unknown experiences. I found that just doing the thing I feared helped me heal my reaction to fear. Your desire must be stronger than your fear. The choice entered your thoughts because you want to see a change in your life. We stay stuck because we use terms like, I'm fine, I'm good, I can, yes, and I'm okay. When you want to say the opposite, this is why the acknowledgement is emphasized. Say the truth and you will start living your truth. Living your truth. Being authentic to who you are. That's the other side of healing. There's no two faces. There's no imposter syndrome. There's no anything. You don't have to pretend anything. Just living in your truth is something so underrated. It's like we have so many expectations of us that society expects us to be, and we don't live our truth because of it. And once you do start living your truth, you'll never go back. Because there's a sense of freedom. You're free. When you are living authentically in who you are and making the choices that align with your mind, body, and soul, and all of those beautiful things, you are just free to do and be anything that you want. There's no limit to the greatness that you are. No limit. Step 2, acceptance. Now this is something I came up with: observe, collect, and act accordingly. I feel like this step process, even when I use it on myself, right? Because you can use it on yourself. This is how I observed that I was fearful and not shy. I collected the information without adding a story to it. And then I started acting accordingly, right? Because I knew what the problem was. The problem was fear. Okay, so this method is something I created. The first step is observation. Everything will eventually show its true nature. You must be quiet enough and watch closely enough to see it. Every person has patterns. We sometimes don't notice the pattern because it's a natural state, which is why it's so important to observe. The pattern is the truth. Have you ever come across someone or something or a situation that just kept repeating? Like in the beginning, it was something different, and then time went on, and then you started seeing different things, and it wasn't right away. It was just like little by little by little. And because I'm such an observant person, I clocked it. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, let me keep watching here. I gotta keep watching and see what's going on. So I stayed quiet, watched, and people are always going to show you what they rather do. And believe it. This is the next part, is to collect. To collect is to internalize your observation. Once internalized, do not add a story. No excuses whatsoever. Their childhood trauma has nothing to do with you. Their excuses have nothing to do with you. What they did is what they feel. And that's it. There's no excuse. There's no story to be added. You act according to what you see, what is being shown, the act itself, not what they say. This is so important. This is going to save you so much time, especially when you're in a relationship or you're in a potential romantic relationship. This is going to save you so much time. I know we're women, and even for men too, I know we have empathy for people's stories. We have empathy and we want to nurture somebody and all those beautiful things, and be that person for someone. 100% be that person, but don't lose yourself in the process. Don't allow disrespect in the process. Don't allow things that are just not meant for you in the process. If something doesn't align with you, clock it from the first time, from the first occurrence. And it's going to save you so much time and so much pain if you just follow what your intuition is saying, because your intuition is going to tell you, okay? And follow this step. Don't add a story. Take someone for what they show you, not what they say. Okay? The last step is to act accordingly. To act accordingly is to either remove yourself or set strong boundaries. We need to accept what is and not what we think it is. Healthy boundaries are essential for living a healed and healthy life. This method can also be used on yourself. Self-observation is how we keep holding ourselves accountable, right? This is how you hold yourself accountable. See, like in the beginning when I said I collected the information that it was fear, and I started acting accordingly, and I overcame that challenge because I knew what the challenge was, right? And that's the whole thing, is if something doesn't align with you, remove access. Don't wait if thinking somebody's going to change or something is going to change or your boss is going to change or anything is going to change and then waste 10 years of your life. Don't waste your time. Your time is valuable. We all don't know how much time we have. So why waste it? Give people access to you that deserve it, that deserve your kindness, that deserve your empathy, that deserve your compassion. And I had to learn this the hard way. And so that's why I'm here. I want to teach people how to learn from my mistake. Okay? So these are all things I learned from experience. I experienced this. And so I was able to sift through all of it and come up with plans and come up with strategies on how to never go through it again. And that's what the healing process is to really show you who you are and who you're meant to be. And once you are your authentic self, you will not compromise on anything that has to do with your morals, values, beliefs, all those beautiful things that make you who you are, right? And so of course we compromise when it comes to relationships and, oh, what are we making for dinner and all this stuff. Yeah, okay, but not on who I am. You know what I'm saying? We can compromise on dinner, but not on who we are, okay? So keep that in mind. Okay, step 3, release control. When you need to control something, you have fear of losing it. To control anything is to create an anchor for yourself. Your need for control is a need that can make you act out of character. If you cling to something that is not meant for you, you will become a slave to that thing. The only control you should seek is the control you embody for yourself. Control yourself and don't have any expectations. Picture yourself carrying a bag of potatoes everywhere you go. Now, in the beginning, you will not feel it as much, but eventually you'll start to feel the pain. The need to control is a need for you to feel safe. You want to protect yourself, and you feel like controlling any situation will keep you safe. I understand this. Just believe and trust that you can overcome any obstacle. When you hold an attachment to something, your need to control it will increase. According to psychologists like Dr. Harriet Lerner, control is often a way people manage underlying fear, uncertainty of trauma. When life feels unpredictable or overwhelming, trying to control things creates a temporary illusion of order. Dr. Breen Brown says when people feel powerless, they tend to overcompensate by trying to control whatever they can. Okay, so trying to control anything outside of yourself is only a heightened expectation, creating a heightened expectation of the outcome, like of an outcome or something. You know, like you want so much control that you want your desires to be, you want whatever is in your head, your illusion in your mind, to come to fruition. And whatever expectation you have in your mind, you want it to come to fruition so badly that you're controlling every single aspect. And yeah, we want our dreams to come true, but our dreams for ourselves, for us, that's what we can control. We can't control what other people do. So we try to control certain people in our lives so they can meet our expectations. And that's a realization I had as well. Some people are just not meant to meet your expectations. And it's not fair to them, and it's not fair to you to put any expectations on anyone outside of yourself other than you. Your only expectation ever should be of you, and that's it. Any expectations just lead to more pain. Whatever expectations you want to have, make sure they involve only you. Okay? And then the need for control will dissipate. Step 4, detachment. I call this the art of detachment because it's really an art. Once you learn detachment, it's game over. Literal game over. Detachment is a gift, and it takes practice and it takes experience, right? So to be detached is to be free. Think of detachment as a release of chains holding you back. To detach from something is to accept what is. It's to accept what is. Detachment will allow you to gain more trust in yourself and your belief in yourself. When you are attached to something, you create a weakness. Just imagine this. If you are attached to an abusive individual, you are going to allow them to cause chaos and unnecessary turmoil in your life. Detachment is the key to safety. Create wants and not needs. The only need you shall entertain is yourself. When you heal enough to love your own company, you will only allow people you want into your life. To want something is the greatest amount of love you can give. To need something is to be attached. That's not a way you want to live. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring without attachment to outcome. This is a core form of mental detachment. Instead of becoming your thoughts or emotions, you create space between you and them. According to ACT founder Dr. Stephen Hayes, suffering is not about having thoughts and feelings. It's about getting entangled in them, right? So if you're detached, if you learned the art of detachment, okay, you don't need anything outside of yourself other than you and God. And your kids, of course. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need anything. Like, you don't need. Like, you'll train yourself not to need anything. And if anything was to leave your life, you'll be fine. Of course, you'll cry for maybe 2 or 3 days, but you'll be fine. I'm joking. But I'm just saying, like, once you learn how to detach from certain things, it's life-changing. It really is. It's real freedom. It's so important to go through this stage in your healing journey. Step 5, journal reflection. To keep a journal is to relieve your mind. You can hold more than 30,000 thoughts a day. Journaling is essential in keeping your mind and thoughts clear. I use this method to align. I write every day, whether it's in my journal or my notes on my phone. I love reflecting on the sequence of my mind when I feel different emotions. Sometimes we don't know that we are doing something until we look at ourselves in a third-party reflection. Reflection holds us accountable and keeps us living authentically. A journal can also be used as motivation. You can see the growth in your mindset and your emotional state. I like to read entries from a year ago, and when I do this, I grow fonder and more trusting in myself. A journal creates a safety net. Your thoughts deserve to be written and expressed. Who knows? What if you're a bestseller one day? Dr. Penn Barker's groundbreaking research at University of Texas showed that journaling for just 15 to 20 minutes a day for 4 consecutive days can lead to reduced stress and anxiety, improved immune function, better mood regulation, clearer thinking, and decision making. Okay, so journaling is maybe one of the most beautiful ways of being artistic and creative. It really brings out every single version in your mind of what you want in that moment. Even like, let's say you don't have a pen and paper, or you don't have your phone, or whatever the case may be, or you have your phone but you don't feel like writing anything, you just want to talk. Just do that too. That's a journal entry. That's such a beautiful way in expressing yourself without the fear of judgment, right? Okay, like, and when you do live authentically yourself, you don't really care about the judgment. But I'm just saying, like, if that's something you're concerned about, like, just being able to express yourself in that way, right? And then coming back to the situation or whatever situation you're in, being more mindful, like your mind is free. I expressed already what I need to express in that moment, where if you're angry and you want to, like, let out some spiciness and let out some sassiness, just write it, like, record your voice and say whatever you want to say. Like nobody's gonna hold you accountable for it, but you released it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you do feel like that, release it and then go back to the situation with a clearer mind, and your character is still intact. Nobody caught you off guard. Nobody caught you out of character, and you hold your accountability is still intact as well. Okay? So, journaling is such a beautiful way to express yourself. Okay? Let's take a little meditation break. This is a lot of information. So at this time, I would like to take a few minutes to meditate. Please join me in a few minutes of silence and relaxation. Close your eyes and try to relax your mind. Okay? Jay Shetty says, meditation is not about becoming a different person or a new person or even a better person. It's about being more of you. Jay Shetty emphasizes that meditation is a return to self, peeling back the layers of noise, expectations, and external pressures to reconnect with your inner voice and truth. Meditation is a form of self-observation. To be able to sit with your insight and observe your internal thoughts is also a form of self-care. For a few moments, you release your control and allow God to speak to you. Step 6. This is my favorite one. Emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is to be aware of your emotions first. Awareness will bring you clarity. Clarity will bring you to a solution. Let's say you are challenged emotionally by getting caught off in traffic. Now tell me your reaction. If you can tell me your reaction, you are aware of your emotions. Now here's another question. Is your reaction the reaction you want to have? If your answer is yes, what would you do differently? How would you emotionally regulate yourself in that second? I could give you a method I use. I take a deep breath, and if my music is playing, I start to sing. Now my reaction before would have been completely different. It took repetition, consistency, awareness, and clarity. The way to emotional regulation is through awareness and control of one's reaction. So, emotional regulation is probably going to change your entire life. And this is a subject that I believe, or I know, should be implemented in every high school, in every school in the country, in the world, really. It's so important to be able to emotionally regulate yourself. Like, how many times have we heard stories of people acting out of anger and doing something they can never take back? This is emotional regulation. To be able to detach, right? This is why detachment is so important. To be able to detach yourself from a situation that's going to make you act out of character and emotionally regulate yourself will make you a better friend, will make you a better spouse, will make you a better father or mother, will make you a better human being altogether. And really, to emotionally regulate yourself and to be able to teach yourself to do this is such a step towards loving yourself. Is so, it's like, it's self-love at its epitome, at its core. To be able to self-regulate, to emotionally regulate, to emotionally regulate yourself is to have complete control over yourself. You will lessen the acts out of character. You will lessen anything that you're not meant, that is meant to, that is really meant to hurt you, right? You'll lessen your ability to put yourself in those kind of situations. It's so important to have this be put, like, we throw kids into the real world without teaching them what real life is all about, with the stresses, how to deal with stress, how to deal with financial issues, how to deal with all of those things. If you are able to emotionally regulate yourself and you have a financial crisis you're going through, you're more likely to solve your financial crisis than if somebody didn't know how to emotionally regulate themselves. That's how important it is. There's no negativity. There's nothing that can happen, that negative thing that can happen from emotional regulation. And the fact that it's not implemented in schools is beyond I don't know. I have no idea. But it's so important. It's so important to be able to emotionally regulate yourself. Step 7, self-soothing. Self-soothing is like a bullet point to emotional regulation. It's like one of the bullet points to emotional regulation. To self-soothe comes with meditation, prayer, emotionally regulating yourself, taking the 5 minutes when you need to take the 5 minutes, taking a deep breath when you need to take a deep breath, and knowing yourself enough to take the time that you need to get yourself together. We all go through stresses in life that will challenge us emotionally, and being able to put yourself or being able to take yourself out of a toxic environment and say, this is not for me, is a form of self-love and self-care. Nina Barvley, a psychologist, states, to self-soothe encourages us to take care of ourselves by engaging in soothing activities or stimulation. It reminds us that we deserve to feel good, that we can play an active role in helping ourselves feel good, and that all feelings are temporary and changeable. Follow this rule. It's not about how much work you do. It's about the quality of work you do. And so this is why it's so important to take the 5 minutes when you need the 5 minutes. If you go up to your boss and you tell them, okay, I need to go for a walk for 10 minutes and get my emotional state together and self-soothe and whatever the case may be, right? Because we all have stresses that we need to overcome. And you say that way I can do my job better. I can, whatever you need to say. And they have a problem with that. That's just like a place that you shouldn't be then. Because to be able to do your job, let's give this example. If you were to create a task and do that task while you're tired, right? And then do the task while you're not tired and you are emotionally in the mindset to do that task. Look at both look at both of those tasks and see the difference. There is going to be a huge difference. There really is. So it's really about the quality of work that you do and not the it's better to do it right the first time, even if it takes a little bit longer. But to be able to work on something and do it right the first time, you have a set formula. You don't ever have to go back and think about, okay, what do I need to fix in this? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that because you have a set successful formula. And that's what this means. That's why having your mindset correct while you're doing a job that's important is so beyond important. Boundaries. This one's my favorite one. Boundaries are created through experience. It may take a traumatic experience to place a strong boundary. You never need to explain a boundary. You see it, make it known, and watch who doesn't respect it. If a person doesn't respect a boundary, they don't respect you. Now your boundaries should be placed to protect you. If protecting yourself is seen as a problem, then it's time to set a new boundaries and remove access. Any accommodation to a boundary is an act of self-betrayal. You rule and you are the CEO of your own life. You place people in it and you place people out of it. Any person upset with you over a personal boundary is the reason you set the boundary in the first place. Remember, you don't need to explain. Just say it and that's it. A boundary is non-negotiable. There's no loopholes. Especially if you place the boundary to protect you, there's nothing around it. There's nothing should be able to penetrate through it. A boundary is a boundary. And as long as you stick by it, people are going to respect you. And if they don't respect you, then that's a time for that person to be pushed out of your life. And you can do it because you are in control of your own life. Boundaries are non-negotiable. There's no coming back. There's no loophole. There's no exception. There's no anything when it comes to a boundary. Period. Step 9, triggers. A trigger is created through life experiences. Triggers are memories with an emotional stamp on them. We create the emotion, and so we can heal the emotion attached to the memory. To heal the emotion or reaction to a trigger, you need to be aware of the trigger. Once aware, you need to work through the emotion and feel it. You cannot ignore an emotion and expect it to just go away. Just like symptoms of a disease, the longer you ignore them, the more damage they will cause. The trigger is a memory. You can't remove a memory from your consciousness. What you can do is create a healthy, manageable reaction to the trigger. Now, to create a healthy reaction to a trigger, you have to acknowledge there's a trigger. Okay? This is where acknowledgement and awareness is all into healing. All into it. You have to have them all. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm triggered in this moment. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to react to this? You say it out loud if you need to. You know, sometimes stuff happens at the grocery store and somebody triggered you. Say it out loud. Okay, I'm triggered in this moment. What am I going to do? How am I going to react? You know, just saying that to yourself too calms you down because you're aware of the situation. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to keep yourself intact, to keep control over yourself, to keep composure so you don't have to act out of anger or you don't have to act out of character. So that's so important, is to what we're healing. We're not healing the actual trigger because the actual trigger is attached to a memory, and usually a memory doesn't go away. And so what we're healing is we're healing the reaction to the trigger, right? So as long as you heal the reaction to your trigger, That means you're healing something. You know, you're healing the emotional stamp to that trigger. Okay? Step 10, reaction. A reaction should align with a solution, just like a disease aligns with a drug. The drug is to heal the disease. The drug is used as a reaction. A problem has never been solved through anger. So why is anger such a huge reaction to a problem? Let's go deeper. It is used as a technique to manipulate and create fear. Most people will avoid this conflict and will comply with the opposing party. When you realize the pattern, you can enhance the pattern. Anger is a second reaction. Your initial reaction is a heightened emotion. When you are faced with an occurrence of anger, count to 10 before reacting. Some reactions can hold you liable for many years. How many stories have we heard of a person doing something out of anger? You are in control of your emotions, so control them. React with the necessary emotion. And I found that silence is such a peaceful and beautiful way to end a cycle. So your reaction should always be something that aligns with your character, right? So your reaction should always be something that makes sense with who you are, right? And who you want to, like who you want to be too. So any reaction should be a solution to a problem. Okay, it should be aligning with a solution. And most reactions are just not that, because we don't know how to emotionally regulate ourselves. That's why saying things out loud like, okay, I'm triggered in this moment, right? Or saying a safe statement that you create for yourself, whatever that is, whatever makes you feel safe in that moment, whatever brings your nervous system back to reality, you know what I mean? Or back to you. And you can create something like that. You can create a statement that brings you back to you, you know? And it could be something, you know, very simple that just brings you back. And this comes with, like, your reaction also comes with a lot of reflection too. Like, okay, you have to train yourself to be able to react in things in a certain way. So yeah, just have grace for yourself, have love for yourself in this process. You're not gonna get it right every single time. You're gonna go through experiences. You're going to go through the challenges until you learn what you need to learn, okay? Step 11, manifestation. This is so underrated. It really does work, and I'm going to tell you how. When you believe it, you become it. When you say it, you are speaking it into existence. Manifestation is the process of aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions with what you want to create in your life. It's not just about wishing. It's about becoming a match for what you're asking for. When your inner world, your beliefs, your focus, energy lines up with your desired outcome, the outer world begins to shift. Manifestation is the outcome of focused intention, emotional regulation, and consistent action. Psychologists might explain it as a form of self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe something strongly enough, you begin to behave in ways that align with that belief, which increases the chances of it becoming reality. Visualization, positive affirmation, and mindset shifts are all tools used in manifestation that have also been studied in cognitive behavioral therapy and neuroplasticity. Manifestation is not just saying what you want. It's about the intention of becoming what you want. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire or a billionaire next year and not work towards that. That's not how manifestation works. Manifestation is also having the intention of becoming that, right? And acting like you want that, right? And earning it, right? So it's like I could have had my fear of the camera overcome what I wanted to be in life, right? But I didn't let it. I kept going. I kept making videos. I kept being so comfortable with sharing my deepest thoughts and my deepest experiences and all of those beautiful things that made me feel so much more trusting in myself. Okay? So if anything can stop you from achieving your dream, then it's not a dream that you desire that much. So just being true to your morals and your values and all those, and knowing what they are, right? Acknowledgement of what they are is going to help you through your healing journey. And there's no set time of how fast you have to heal. You just have to do the work, learn yourself, have trust in yourself, and surrender to God's will. That's what I learned. And so the last one is grief. Grief is more than an emotion. It is a stage of emotions. Grief is staged with sadness, anger, despair, coping, realigning, release, acceptance, and abandonment. When grieving, you are not just grieving a loss, you are grieving the past, present, and future you would have had with that person. Believe it or not, you can also grieve the person you once were. To grieve the old you and presently be working on becoming the new you, the in-between stage is going to feel like you are an imposter. When you are healing, you are grieving who you were and creating who you're going to be. This is why it feels so brutal. It feels like this because you are dying and rebirthing yourself. You're creating new habits, reactions, environments, boundaries, lifestyles, and routines. You are rediscovering your inner child and allowing your inner child to resurface. As you grieve, have grace for yourself. You are perfectly imperfect. Okay? So grief is something, oh my gosh. It has every single emotion in it. And to grieve is it has to have a lot of acceptance in it, because there's really no closure in grieving, right? Because when something is lost and when something is gone, like trust in somebody or trust in yourself, or it all has to be something that you're going to eventually have to grieve, or losing a loved one, right? So it's all something that you have to grieve. So thank you all for joining. We covered so much powerful ground today, and I hope you truly enjoyed this session. I'll be hosting this webinar every week, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, reflections, or any questions you may have. Your feedback means everything to me. It helps the space grow and evolve. Feel free to reach out anytime at my email, zainab1760@gmail.com. My website is brand.site/awakenrise. Please contact me for any inquiries about one-on-one coaching appointments. Let's keep rising together. Join the infinite rise. So thank you all for coming in today. I appreciate your time. And I appreciate okay. So have a great day. Bye-bye.